a missing train, time travel, and medieval monks. Interested yet? If you've never heard about the Zannetti train and its 104 passengers that seemingly vanished out of thin air, I wouldn't hold it against you. On the morning of July 14th, 1911, a rail company by the name of Zannetti would showcase their brand new 3-car train. The passengers aboard were from wealthy Italian families who Zannetti wanted to impress. Aside from this fancy new train, the passengers were looking forward to experiencing the new tunnel that was a straight shot through the Lombardy Mountain. The tunnel was approximately a half-mile long and was the longest ever built at the time. The train would follow the tracks flawlessly and leave the populated station from Rome. Not long after, the train could be seen up ahead. Once the train entered the tunnel, it was never seen again. Many people waited on the other side of the tunnel to witness the train's exit, but were surprised and confused when it never arrived. The tunnel was searched by both railroad workers and police, and no evidence of the train's existence could be discovered. Luckily for them though, 2 men were found nearby who claimed to have been passengers on the train. The men described how they witnessed thick, black smoke along with a dense white fog and enveloped the leading train car. It was at this time that both of the men jumped off the train before it could disappear into the dark Lombardy tunnel. This event would traumatize the men for several years, causing insomnia and other side effects. One of the men would speak to the newspaper stating, "I heard an unclear humming sound. Beyond the black smoke, I could see a milky white fog creeping from the tunnel. It literally swallowed the train like a wave." After this bizarre occurrence, the word would spread wide about the missing train and would lead to officials closing the tunnel soon after. During a bombing run in World War II, the tunnel would be completely destroyed. No one could ascertain how the train could possibly vanish into thin air without leaving any physical evidence behind. No important discoveries would be made until years later, when a relative of one of the Zannetti passengers found a report that 104 Italian patients were admitted to a Mexican hospital in the 1840s. A psychiatrist would leave notes describing how the men were in a hysterical state and wore strange apparel. One of the patient's belongings contained a tobacco box with the date 1907 across it and is still kept in a museum in Mexico today. This discovery led others to dig deeper into the mystery and found a strange lead no one expected. There were a group of medieval monks from Modena who kept a record of seeing a 3-car mechanical carriage with people on board. At this point in history, the fastest mode of transportation was on horseback, and railroads hadn't been invented yet. Several years later, the train would again be spotted in Europe. A 3-car train would be observed on October 29, 1955, near a small village just outside Zavolichi, Ukraine. A signalman named Pyotr Istomenko witnessed the train moving silently. The train itself has been spotted throughout the decades in Russia, Germany, India, Italy, and Romania. The train has been described the exact same way on every single occasion. Completely silent, closed curtains on the windows with no visible machinist. The Russia experience was in Crimea, and apparently this time there were no rails for the train. It simply hovered over the ground as it went. In 1991, the train was yet again sighted, this time in Poltava, and it said a paranormal scientist decided to jump in front of the train while others watched. The man has been missing since, and any trace of him was never found. One of the most popular theories to date is that all the railroads in the world form a type of connected web that contains its own magnetic field. The trains would serve as electric conductors between the Earth's natural magnetic field and the artificial one. Another theory states that shortly before the train left the station towards Lombardy Mountain, an earthquake had occurred. This is believed that the crust fracture, which had appeared under Lombardy Mountain, created a type of time anomaly at the entrance to the tunnel. And as fantastic and ominous as this all is, the fact is, this is just a really cool story, and an introduction into a series that I'm excited to begin. I'll be covering some of the most interesting and spooky urban legends out there, so stay tuned. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you on the other side.